Hello, welcome to another Tuesday Talk where we are talking about one of the most underrated traits for leaders, generosity. Welcome to this Tuesday Talk where we talk about anything and everything that is about positioning you as a leader and making you an obvious choice for the opportunities. And by opportunities, I mean whatever is an opportunity for you, not what is sold to you as an opportunity. These conversations are aimed for two groups of people. First one, the ones that they want to land higher profile roles and they are unapologetic about it. Second group are people that they are already in senior position roles and they are thinking to transition out and have their own gigs on the side or instead. With the first group, the work that needs to be done is to position you as a leader. Basically, it will make you headhuntable. The work we do with the second group is about monetizing your knowledge, your know-how, and your battle scars. That is making you launch ready. Today's conversation got triggered because of one of the private coaching calls. And we decided to talk about generosity and unpack that. These conversations are always because of the coaching calls, but then I back them up with research, literature, books, papers, case studies, numbers, data, etc. And then I always, after unpacking them, turn them to an action so they are meaningful and they become a good investment of your time if you are listening to them. So, with that, let's talk about generosity. And no, I'm not talking about money or philanthropic work or charity. I'm talking about other things that are available to you and they don't cost, at least they don't cost any dollar. So with generosity, there is two dimensions to it. One is about the situation. One is about the situation when there's something in excess that you give it away, or when something is not so much in excess and there's a scarcity and you give it away. The other one is about your approach as when and how you give it away. When something is proactive and you thought about a situation and you're making an offer, or is reactive when someone comes to you and requires and asks for if you can help them with something. So in my mind, being a girl that always turns everything into a framework, I would suggest that you consider a two-dimensional axis, if that helps you to visualize it. When we talk about that, and throughout this conversation, I want you to think of scenarios throughout your week, particularly when you are in work or when you are in professional setup, social professional setup. To go through those events that happens, look at your calendar, look at your interactions, and try to assess where do you sit in these excess. When you're talking about, do I give something when I have plenty of it? Or am I someone that even I would give away when I'm stretched thin? And also think about, do I normally respond to a need, or do I know what's going on around me and then make an offer? So let me give you a couple of an example of to make this one really real. And think of neighbors that they're moving to the same building or neighborhood, and we do know that they're going to be assembling something, or they're going to be, mounting things on a wall. So knocking on a door and saying, hey, we know that you're going to be doing some stuff. Here is our tool shed. You're welcome to borrow the tools that you need. It's an example of proactive approach, but something that you already have and it's in excess. It doesn't cost you anything. You don't need it right now, but you make it available to others. And today, at the end of this conversation, I am going to share with you a couple of examples that came out of our mastermind that was really interesting. So I actually got some notes, and I'm going to share that one with you. But it's important to know why I'm talking about this one. The core of what I do is about moving managers to leaders. That's the essence of it. You're fantastic at what you do. You're really good at developing your numbers, enhancing them, growing the businesses, meeting your KPIs, managing your team. So the fact that you're doing your job is given. You are good at it. But the point after that is moving from a good manager to a leader. That's where you stand out. And that is the promise of whatever we do, making you an obvious choice for opportunities. You doing a good job and being fantastic at it, in your core skill set, it's given. Now we're talking about next level. With that, there are research that shows two key points that I wanted to bring for you and share with you. One was everything that is about leadership, that is above management, was talking about leaders that give beyond what they currently have. So when they are stretched. And that is to the point just before self-sacrifice. And that's the key in making distinction between being a leader versus being a martyr. That's not the case here, and we're not talking about that. So, first point that was coming up in literature was this. Leaders always give to the point that they are stretched. Second one was leaders give before they are asked. Before they are asked, meaning all of them, they have this concept of proactive, if we put it in technical terms. With that, I wanted to talk about a couple of examples that came in one of or two of our masterminds with about 20, 30 people, and I captured a couple of examples for you. Let's look at them. One of them was from a vendor. Well, he's the CEO of a company that is a reseller of large SaaS product to large companies. So he normally considered to be a vendor. In his examples of generosity, he said, Shireen, people that they are talking about, they are giving their attention, full attention, when we are presenting anything to them. That is showing me that they're generous with their attention. And though I know that probably my software is not sitting on their roadmap, and then not only they listen, not only they summarize back what we offered, but also they are very clear that they are, for example, it's not the right fit for us. However, we can make a referral. So this was an example of this is not about money. It was just about attention while they are with you, as well as connections and referrals that can add value to your life. Another example was time. Obviously, the higher you go, the less time you have, and the context switch is really a challenge. Number of things that you need to be across. Sometimes we wish that we were in those positions or situations that we could do one thing and that would have been it, but it's not. So your time is stretched, your mind is at capacity with all different topics that come at you. However, in one of the examples, one of the senior managers was saying that he opens his calendar during lunchtime for half an hour. It's the mid-size organization for anyone that would like to join that call to have a conversation. So he makes his time available. And most of the time, part of conversation was, okay, what is it that you talk about? I said, mostly I listen and I ask questions. I don't offer any solution. I don't offer any advice. I don't make any promises. I just listen. Which reminds me, in the past, we used to gather in the kitchen and hang out with people that they are working in other departments or other groups that we normally don't get to work with them. But I thought it's a very interesting and generous way of sharing the time, which you have very little of it already between all 100, 200 meetings, and creating those connections. Another example that I had was helping a peer to develop their first 90 days when they come on board. Though I'm already have my own things to do, but the example was they spend a lot of time, a fair bit of time, with a newly joined CXR and help them to develop their 90-day plan, as well as making connections and making a lot of introductions to their existing clients. Something that he didn't need to do, but did because it would have made someone else's life a lot easier. And the conversation was that I do this one because I remember when I started, it was so difficult to get a good understanding of current landscape of the company. So it was a great one. Example of sharing connection and knowledge of current state with whoever that is new. Another example, which is mine, and I love it, is giving away your memory, your brain cells, to someone's pet project or interest or passions. I don't know if you've seen it or not, but sometimes you talk to someone and they say, hey, do you still do that? And you will be always impressed and surprised as how they remember. Well, our brain cell has finite capacity. On a level you're probably smarter than most people and have better memory and you have better techniques to remember stuff. But being generous with your memory cells to remember people's pet projects, side project, interests is also another type of generosity, which will move you from a good manager, capable manager, to a good leader. So I started this conversation with the fact that we're talking about generosity, different aspects of it, the condition and the approach, to do a little bit of self-reflection. And then I talked about why it's important. That moves you from a manager to leader. And then I shared a couple of examples with you. And here is an action if you decide to take it. Firstly, make this one a fun thing. You know, life is serious enough or can be serious, and the art is to make things fun. Things are not naturally fun, but it's an art to turn normal, boring, ordinary things fun. So try to make this exercise fun. And the best time for it is to think of on Sunday night when you're preparing for the week. Think of what are the opportunities that I can be micro generous with my time, attention, memory, connections, relationships that I have, and add something beyond my 9 to 5 of job to someone else. All right, my friend, that's what I had prepared for today, and I hope you have enjoyed it, and I hope you have an opportunity to implement some of it. And remember, even if you do one tiny thing this week or coming week, that would be a win. I'll see you next week, same time, same place, and a different topic. Bye.